All right, so what you see here is this, I don't know what we'll call this. Let's call this a double L shape here, okay? You've got that double L shape, and they're asking us to draw that from the front, top, and side view. So let me bring up the magnifier here so we can see it a little bit better in this video presentation, and then we'll talk about it. Now, what you see right there is the front view. And when we draw it from the front view, remember, we're drawing here then with two-dimensional perspective. So you're not going to see any of the depth that you see drawn there. So what do we see in the front? Well, when we're taking a look at the front, we see one block on top, we see 2 blocks on the next row, and 3 blocks on the final row. All right, that's your front view, and that's all you have to draw. Again, it's drawn two-dimensional, so there's no perspective anymore like we have with the three-dimensional space. All right, now the side view would be what we see when we look at this shape, either going this way or this way. Now, some of you are looking at that and going, well, wait a minute, isn't that two different things? Well, yes and no. In the three-dimensional world, yes, that would be two different things. But we're not talking about the three-dimensional world for drawing something here flat. All right, we're talking about the two-dimensional world. So whether I look at it going this way or this way, when I talk about the squares I'm seeing, all right, if I look at it this side, it's kind of like a flat wall here, all right, that's just 3 blocks tall. If I look at it this way, even though they're indented, again, I don't have that perspective here. So whether I look at it from this way or this way, when I'm talking about the two-dimensional space, all right, all I'm going to see from the side is a 3-block tall wall. All right, and then they want us to talk about the top view here. So what you would see if you were looking at this from overhead going this way. Well, overhead really isn't going to be much different than what we saw with the side view. All right, even though these blocks are indented, if we're looking at it here from the top down, all right, again, I lose that three-dimensional aspect when I do these drawings here. So all I'm going to see looking down is a block, and then another block, and then another block. So all I need to do for the top view is draw 3 blocks going across as such, and there is your orthogonal views. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 3 then. In question number 3, we're working with our orthogonal views again here. And we're supposed to draw the front, top, and side views of the figure. So we're doing the exact same thing we did in just the last question here. All right, so first thing here, talk about the front. Well, the front is exactly what we're seeing right now. Let me go ahead and bring up the magnifier again so you can see it a little bit more clearly in this video presentation. Again, you're drawing what you would see right now looking at it this way, all right, and you're losing the three-dimensional aspect that you have to it. So you have kind of that half-hearted U shape there, maybe more like a J if you want to call it that. That's your front view. So that's what they drew. So as you see over here in the answer box, here is that 6-block pattern that you see from the front side. All right, now the top view would be what you see when you look down like this. Now, again, as we talked about in the previous example, some of you are saying, well, these are at different depths. You're right, they are different depths. All right, but remember, we lose that three-dimensional aspect. It's a flat view. All right, so there's a block in the first spot, and a block in the second spot, and a block in the third spot looking down. All right, and that's all I see, a row of 3 squares, a block and a block and a block. All right, and that's what they've drawn over here in the answer space for this one, a block and a block and a block. The side view would be either looking at it from this way or this way. And even though this is back further than this one, let's say we were looking at this side, still if I was standing there, again, we're losing the three-dimensional aspect. There's block, and there's block, and even though that one's further back, there's still a block. If you're looking at it this way, all right, well, it's really clear. You're just looking at 3 blocks stacked up. So either way, the drawing from the side there is the 3 blocks stacked up. And that's your practice with your orthogonal views. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this up here. Simply asking us to classify the three-dimensional figure, name the figure. All right, this is very obviously a cylinder. Again, you can go back and look at your definitions for the choices. Prism, cylinder, cones, pyramids. Cylinder won't have any more specific name than that because the top and the bottom always have to be circles. The same is true for the cone. However, the prism and the pyramid, because the bases can be different things there, right, you can have more specific names than just that general title.